we are. It is the Sunday Wise Up Photo Gallery walkthrough. We're looking at Diego Bravo 4060 handrail in Loma Linda out in the Inland Empire. We were out this day with Dennis wrapping up his Raven video, and it was getting dark, and Diego saw this rail and wanted to grind it, so we set up the lights. I have 3 flashes here. I've got one high up here, that's the key light. I've got one just out of frame to the right here, that's the fill, and then I've got one up top pointing directly at his back end to give him this nice bright rim light. Makes him pop from the background back here. The background I did not want to be completely black, so I dragged the shutter a bit to 1/30th f8 ISO 400, and it added some detail back there. I didn't want it to be completely black, so mission accomplished. These leaves I had to burn in a bit. The flash sort of harshed them out. This is one of our cleanest photos from the entire gallery, and it made it to the thumbnail, so congratulations, Diego. All right, here's Jared with an opposite wall ride. Can you really call it opposite? Because he can do everything both ways so great. Right side wall ride to gap. This is in Torrance. People grind the ledge. It's tall enough for Jared to wall ride, even though he can wall ride tiny stuff too. But I want to say he wanted a 180 out of this and maybe got a flat. But I do know that it was right before his flight. He and Brett were leaving town this day, and he ended up taking his bike apart right after this spot, flying back home to Austin. But I also love this photo. It's got shallow depth of field. I may have been wide open here. Let's see if I was wide open. Nope, f4. I was closed down a little bit. 1/8000th maxed out shutter, ISO 400. I have one flash back here. You can see a nice brilliant highlight on his back and the shadow it's creating on the wall itself. And the fun secret about this photo is that I have a flash right here that I knew I would Photoshop out. So I set it up so that it'd be really easy to Photoshop. Did I leave those power lines in? Like, I took those power lines out completely because when I Photoshopped this out, I think it may have gotten messy. So I just took those power lines out completely. Clone stamp, clone stamp, clone stamp, clone stamp, clone stamp. Just all basic information that wouldn't be fouled up by weird digital artifacts or created objects. So that's that. Secret's out. That's Hollywood, baby. Here's Gary, 4060 wall ride down some stairs in Corona. I don't think this is what we went to the school for, but this is what Gary wanted to do. I remember I shot it long at first and it just wasn't exciting. So I went fish. Got one flash behind him here, obviously, and one flash probably right around here, right over my shoulder. You can see the shadow that it creates on his face. If you want to know about the light, just get to know the shadows and it'll tell you all you need to know, really. Here's Julian. Fakey hop across Fish Gap in Brooklyn. This was a fun session. It was packed with action. We had Julian. Yeah, we had Adrian. So Adrian set it off with the suicide no-hander. These are unedited. Tail whipped it. It was getting dark pretty quickly, but I felt like if I set up flashes, I'd miss the action. So I was just pushing it a stop, if you will. I cropped Zach out. Was this the make? Yeah. Oh, I clone stamped his foot out. The camera's still in there, but I took his leg out, and then that's pretty much all I needed to do. Let Julian do the work, but Great clip, good photo. Here's Diego up on a roof. This is in La Mirada. This was sort of a off-the-cuff find. We were driving to another spot and someone saw this from the road, and we inspected and found it to be rideable. And he got up there. I think he was just one take, and as soon as he landed, some women came out from this door and were wondering what the hell was going on, and it was pretty funny. But I wish I would have moved this frame. It is distracting to me. I don't know if it'd be distracting to you if I hadn't pointed it out, but I wish I would have just moved that. I'm not sure where my mind was, but looking at it now, that's my one critique, really. Uh, the light is good, the angle's good, it tells a good story, but yeah, that's what I would. And I did try to Photoshop it, but there was just way too much to be filled in behind it, so I let it be. All right, here's Brett in Austin, doing what he does best, going fast, hopping high, grinding, and gapping to another grind. I love this clip. I love the way he stabs the ice pick in there. This day was wet. I think it rained a bunch. We didn't get to ride a whole lot, but we were in the area, and he wanted to take care of the business. So we went, we set up, it was getting dark, we did what we could. I was at ISO 3200, F4 1/4000th. So we've got a nice soft background making him stick out from all the distraction back there. Basic sequence, pegs, gap, ice, and I'm not a huge fan of sequences, but I wanted to do something for this clip, and it's just a great clip too. So go rewatch this one. You're gonna love it even more now. Here's Adrian. This was in New York the day after Dots, cheese wedges, Upper West Side. This was a fun session too. You've probably seen the tail whip that we posted not too long ago. So this was the first shot of the session. I like it. It's action packed. It's close with the fisheye. And then he whipped it first. So he was warming up with the tail whip fakie. He says, oh, I'm going to tail whip the gap. Let's tail whip the gap. I set up my flashes. I ran over there. Go back on the Sunday Instagram to get the full scoop. But barely made this shot happen. He is so close to being cropped out. I got super lucky, I'd say. But I love this photo. But I also love this photo. My timing was spot on. If you watch the clip, I was getting all sorts of lucky that day. And I got a clip at the spot, so holy shit, man. Here's Julian, just a couple hours earlier. Columbus Circle, super busy spot. If you've been there, you know. I wanted to tell the story of people watching Julian. We were there for a good couple hours, and people came and people went. This guy came and went. He watched. The light was really nice on Julian at this point, and I want to say a shadow cast as soon as he started getting the 180, but I'm glad to have gotten this shot. It's wide open with the 7200. I was probably zoomed all the way in, playing with the depth of field, playing with foreground elements. Overall, I'm happy with this photo. Oh, here is Brett. Oh my gosh. So this spot is in central LA, and I've taken a handful of people there, and everyone's passed on it. I'm not sure if I had taken Brett here before, but he was very hyped to get it done. There was very little hesitation besides that some woman that lives here is very quick to kick people out when she sees us hanging out, but The run up is difficult. You come up this like hill. The driveway is like an uphill. Then you have to make an over 90-degree turn to your right, maybe get one full crank, and then gap through the trees and land on this rail, this square rail that curves outward. So there's just so much working against you, but leave it to Brett to just man up and get it done. And I absolutely love this. It was so fun to watch him do it. The photo, I don't know. I feel like I could have shot it better still, but it came out really good, I'd say. Peak action. I guess I could have shot a sequence, but maybe I couldn't find the right angle for that. But I think this tells a pretty good story. And if not, just go watch the clip and forget about this photo, because it's all about Brett getting this done. Love it. Here's Mastroni. This isn't the make. Here's Mastroni. Here's Mastroni. This we were just messing around with. This is one of Mastroni's specialties, is this sort of like tire smith he does around circle pads. And this is somewhere around Norwalk or Upper Orange County. I forget totally where it is, but it was getting dark. He was having fun with it, and I asked if I could play with this idea I had where I streak the lights into the circular shape that would contour the spot and the shape of his body here. And so I dragged the shutter a good amount. What are we at? Half a second. F8, ISO 100. 2 flashes, basic fisheye flash setup. One here, one here. You see the lights, you see the shadows. And I rotated the camera quickly as he was going around. The flashes popped. I rotate the camera itself, and I get these nice light streaks that sort of mimic the shape of the spot. And this was another try where I got some nice circle, but the angle just wasn't doing it for me. It just doesn't show the spot as well, in my opinion. So I got a little higher for the make. And then this same situation. The streaks are nice. It forms a circle, but overall, I think the top angle really brings it all together. Here's Jared. This was down towards SD. We went here. Diego was with us. Milky was with us. I don't think it was the same day Dennis. No, Dennis was not there. But Dennis did do like wall, gap. What did Dennis do? Dennis did something crazy. Go watch Raven, and you'll know. But Jared also worked on this clip for a while, and I was kind of just shooting around, working with these angles. I stood up on this wall. I was looking down, playing with the shadows, playing with these shapes here, the pillars. A lot of fun shapes here, and I love the form of the curved wall ride, so I wanted to just sort of accentuate all this action around him and sort of make him literally the center of attention. And there's a few where, there's a few. So this was in order. Started with this shot, telling a little story with Zach back here filming. And then I started working with this behind him, and then I started getting higher up here and looking down, and then one of these is the make. See, it's this corner down here. I really wanted to include this piece of the wall. You'll see that it's not there in all the photos. Yeah, it really, for me, that what made that photo was just this corner of the wall, sort of bringing it all together. And this is the one we landed on, and I like the photo. Here's Diego again, doing what he does best, getting on a roof and jumping off of it. This was on the way to San Diego. We had Jared and we had Brett in the van. And this might have been the same day as that curved wall ride we just saw, but Diego had this in mind. It was right off the 5 freeway. And so we stopped through. We parked the van. I got a photo of Jared and Brett in front of this Poseidon mural. And then Brett helped Diego up onto the roof. Diego cleaned off the sign and waxed it. We waited for traffic to clear. There was a backpacking man. He was hyped. I want to say I photoshopped out a power line that was going right through his head. Okay, not right through, but there was a power line touching his head that I was not a fan of, and so I photoshopped that out because this is Hollywood. Overall, one of my favorite photos. I really like the colors, actually. The timing's good. Basic natural light shot. It was early in the morning. The marine layer fog was still surrounding. Everything was sort of soft and quiet, and I think that it shows. Diego again. This is in the Bronx. This was the day before Dots. We were just meandering around. We came upon this rail setup, and Diego decided he wanted to fakey 60-40 it. And let's see, at first, maybe not at first, but I did try this angle, and it just wasn't really striking me. It didn't feel as exciting, so I decided to just sort of do away with the flashes and get real close. You can see Brett back here holding one of my flashes, and other ones right here. But I decided to go natural light and just to get close with the fisheye. And the one we like is this one. This one's got some crazy like dust coming through. The sun is right behind him. It's close, it's sharp, and man, did he lock into this grind. If you watch the clip, he just grinded every inch he could of this rail, and we love him for that. And then I'll add that Jared did this ice pick on the lower level. Also very cool in my opinion. So that's that. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and I hope you go and rewatch the Sunday Wise Up video and the B-sides that just came out. Thanks for tuning in.